see me, hi hater, hi hater, hi hater. You see me, hi hater, hi hater, hi hater. You see me, hi hater.
What up, though? Welcome to the DSA Roundtable hosted by me, Lukegsfieldreview. We have a good one today. Oh my God, I am so glad to have all these real Detroit Lion fans in the DSA community as a whole joining us today to knock this out the park. Today, we got a good show for you, ladies and gentlemen, and that is because we work hard to give you the best content here on YouTube. With that being said, let's start off with the introductions. We'll start off with the man of all maestros, with the perfect introductions, Mr. MicroMike. What up, though?
What up, though? What's going on, chat, man? Ready for a good one? Ready for a fire show? Getting close to game day. Let's go.
Next up, we have the man himself who calls himself the heart of the city because he really is the heart of the city because he will go to war for this squad. Mr. 313 J-Mo, what up, though?
What up, man? I'm ready to go to war because these Eagles fans out of pocket today.
Okay. Put a little water on the face. Put a little water on the face. All right. Next up, we have Mr. We Talk Sports, period, because at the end of the day, that's all we gonna talk is sports, period. Mr. Noble Sports Entertainment, TA, what up, though?
What it do? What's up, everybody? Let's get it.
Man, absolutely loving this. All right, we're going to get this thing started. J-Mo, with all due respect, please give us that roll call.
Oh, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there? Make sure you guys like the video. We got Data Boy in the building, Chris Cashball, Big Perm out here holding it down for Jelani Tavai on every Lions video, man. Shout out to you, man. We got the fake General G. Berry. What's good, man? We got the real General G. General 313. We got the real General G. Berry. What's good, man? We got Riff Distortion. We got Kyle Webb. What up, though? D-Map Zoom. What up, though? Bash Starwind. What up, though? We got Jay Schultz. We got Ryan in the building. We got Randy Nathaniel. What up, though? Eric Gross in the building. Evan, what's good? David Jackson in the building. What up, though? Foot Clan and D-Town. What up, though? Make sure you guys like the video, y'all.
Absolutely. Phenomenal job. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about, a lot to cover. We were going to cover the Taco Charlton, but thank God for us that he was picked up by a team even that was just worse. That was bad. He signs with the Miami Dolphins, so we no longer have to discuss that debacle. But here's what I can tell you. The Detroit Lions recently released C.J. Anderson, and, you know, it was a topic of conversation, but the question now becomes, with him gone, what kind of impact does running back Ty Johnson have as the new number 2? We'll start off with you, Mr. Noble Sports Entertainment. Let's talk to the people.
Wow. Okay, no problem. Man, it's going to be tremendous, man, because the thing of it is that I used to talk about this so much on some of my older Lion videos, just saying that the Lions need fresh faces in the backfield, and they need new legs back there and everything. And to get that opportunity for Ty Johnson to be a guy that you thought that probably wouldn't even make the team, this guy now makes the team and now is getting a promotion to be the number 2 running back. The Lions it just shows me, man, that the Lions are not playing around this year. They want productivity out of the backfield, and they decided to go with the youth movement. I thought they were going to go with the youth movement next season. Ty Johnson will be the number 2, but they said, no, what the heck? Let's go ahead and do it now. We're going to allow C.J. Anderson to probably find another home, but we're ready because everything that Ty Johnson has been doing out on the field, he's been producing. So you got to get this guy more touches. So he'll get the touches that C.J. Anderson was getting, the 10 to 12 touches or whatever like that. And you'll see him featured more in the offense. And now we got the Johnson and Johnson brothers doing their thing in the backfield. And I'm hoping this weekend that we can really, really see that in full effect. We can see Kerryon Johnson and Ty Johnson slicing up defenses.
Absolutely. Now, the General 313, please hit me on Twitter or Discord so we can kind of set up a date in advance. It's not as easy as just popping them on here. So make sure you hit me up and we'll get you on, man. Let's go with you, Mr. 313 J Mo. I mean, what impact are you expecting to see when it comes to Ty Johnson? I do agree with TA that this is a reward for youth and a reward for production. But what say you?
First off, we got Detroit Drew in the building. Hands Therapeutic Massage, what up, though? We got
What up, though,
Avian
fellas?
Jimmy, what up, though? Tone Capone in the building, what up, though? James the Cow was good. But I think the impact is going to be very huge. And I know people are more focusing on running the football, but I'm focusing on him catching out the backfield. I think he's going to be a matchup problem catching out the backfield, and I think they're going to use and abuse that a lot. Of course, they're going to do the same with Carry-On, but it's not that many teams, but it's a few teams out there that have two running backs that can run and pass. I remember when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl, both of their running backs could do that, and they did it really well. And I think that's what we're trying to build here with both of our running backs catching out the backfield, and running the football, making us less predictable. That's the one thing that always made me mad about C.J. Anderson and LeGarrette Blount. They were always predictable. You knew what they're going to do. And what's funny? Zach Zenner is more of a north or south type runner, but when he got on the field, because he catches the passes once in a blue moon, he wasn't nearly as predictable. And to me, that's why I think our running game has been struggling, because it seems like whenever we need to run, we run. So they know what we're going to do. But now I think we're going to have the opposing teams on their toes. And I think Ty Johnson is, he's going to have a huge impact on this team.
Absolutely. And for me, it was about being able to have somebody who do exactly what they brought in to do, is to affect the change when I bring you in. If I got Jerome Bettis and Barry Sanders, I don't expect for Barry to run you over. I expect for Jerome Bettis to do it. And if I expect for Jerome Bettis to try to make you miss with all these unbelievable cuts, that would be foolish of me. When it came to C.J. Anderson, he just didn't do the thing that he was brought into. We had a few 3rd-and-1s, and he couldn't lower that shoulder and push the power. There was a few times he had 1-on-1s and he didn't make no one miss. So when you have those type of problems, you're going to run into a bunch of different issues. And for me, that was the issue with him. Plus, this is more about saying we saw how long we held on to LeGarrette Blount and dealt with that debacle. We're not going to do that right now. We're going to reward the young guy, start the youth movement, and he's giving you production. But what say you, MicroMike? What impact do you expect to see?
Well, again, I truly want to bounce off what you guys said. I really like the idea that they're taking the young guy and they're throwing him in the mix. Now, in years past, they would force the veteran down your throat, even if the production wasn't there. This year, it seems different. They're making a lot of changes, whether it be putting the young guys in or trying to pick anybody out of the bunch of the NFL to join this team with people getting dropped. And I do like the fact that they're putting the young guy in. He is fast. We got him in the 6th round. Bob Quinn drafted this guy, and now he's looking like a steal in the 6th round, knowing it's going to be a duo of Johnson and Johnson. Look, he's agile, he's patient, he can hit the hole, and if he gets in the open field, good luck, because the guy is super fast. He ran a 4.2, 4.3. This guy is speedy, and it's a really good to have that change of pace like that, because you got Carry-On Johnson, who's all around, can do it all. Then you got Ty Johnson, who has that blazing speed, something that we missed since Javid Best. When Javid Best was in there, he was really fast. He could hit that open hole, and if he was loose, he's gone. Ty Johnson has that speed. So say that Matthew Stafford's getting blitzed a lot. Okay, let's do a screen pass. Put Ty in there. Good luck with that. He gets open. It's going all the way. So I love the idea that they're thrusting this young man in there and to help this offense and get speed to this team.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that the most important part of that is being able to adjust that speed. Plus, he shows power at the end of those runs and patience. If you look at the runs he had from last week with the Chargers, he showed a great deal of patience getting in and out of those cuts and producing runs on his own. Whereas with CJ, he just didn't show that. And unfortunately, they wasn't willing to wait for him to do it.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Carry-On a little bit, because Carry-On coming out of college, because I did watch Auburn. I watched the Auburn game where he murdered Georgia. He didn't look like he didn't look like he had as much power as he does. Same thing with Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson, he's a strong back. And I see first black man on this net says Quinn can flat out draft. I know everyone isn't like on Twitter, but Jelani Tavai right now is doing stuff that only a few linebackers have ever done. And we know what TJ Hawkinson has been doing. Bob Quinn is amazing at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the reasons why whenever I hear this, like trade for this and trade for that, and I'm like, no, we are drafting well. I mean, if in my podcast that I dropped earlier today, I discussed that this is not a team that needs to go out and get players to fit the thing. They are drafting players who are coming in and doing their job, and that's a huge thing. Which brings me to the next point, because we may be having to look for somebody in the draft that can do this role plus some, and that is return kicks and punts. And with that being said, we'll start off with you, Mr. Mike. Should the Detroit Lions move on from Jamal Agnew?
Before I get into that answer, make sure that you like this video, please. We have 69 in the chat. Let's get those likes up, and so we can, again, defeat the legacy media. That's what the DSA is all about. This is for you. Let's destroy them. When it comes to Jamal Agnew, I was ready to release him definitely after a Sunday, but obviously they feel they're going to give him one more chance. He better, if he plays this Sunday and he muffs up or even sucks again, absolutely release him, because I was ready to release him already, but they're going to give him one more chance, and this is his last and final chance. We cannot have a muffed punt. We cannot have bad special teams play, and it starts with him. He is the focal point. This is why he is on this team. Obviously, he had that injury, and he has not been the same. But if he cannot get back to at least normal amount, he needs to be axed after this game, period.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why they didn't release him. For me, it makes a lot of sense why they didn't release him. To release a player will also mean that if I'm releasing said player, then said player probably is the weakest link of that unit. But that's not the case. The special teams as a whole is bad. Special teams is not performing. They're not blocking on kicks or punts, and they're not keeping their lanes on kick return or punt. And then the worst part about it is when you look up and look at most of the penalties we got, it's coming on what? Special teams. So that's why he's being fortitude the extra opportunity to play, because, he in it by himself is not the worst part of that unit. That unit as a whole is terrible. But what say you, TA?
Well, basically with Jamal, you know what I'm saying? He's been in his own way. You know what I'm saying? If you look at it for the last 2 weeks, he's been getting in his own way. He's been kind of frustrated with his play as well. But at the same time, I don't want to just let him go just like that. The guy is he's valuable, but right now he's just, you know what I'm saying? He's in his own way, man. He's shooting himself in his own foot. And he definitely has to pick it up, because you can be let go. That's the biggest thing. You can be let go. We know that he was an all-pro a couple seasons ago, but after the injury came, yes, that did start affecting him. And sometimes that plays mind games with you when you're a player out there coming back from an injury. You're always thinking about your next injury. So hopefully Jamal Agnew can clean up what he's been doing, the muff punts and things of that nature. I know one of the plays against the Chargers got called back, and it kind of helped him out. And that's very good, man. But at the same time, you need him just let him know, hey, man, the teammates talking to him and everything, let him know, like, you just need to stay focused and just get better, man, from week to week, because, we don't want to release you, but you can be released if you keep having these type of incidents out on the field.
Absolutely. They listen, they're making it known to him that the opportunity is going to be given to you, because they're expecting everybody else to step up. Also, those other people who are on special teams are actually able to play other roles. And in the case of Jamal Agnew, he has struggled as a cornerback as of late, especially since the injury. So it's definitely a issue there where we need to address that. But, J-Mo, and I know, nobody holds more stronger views about this team than you. Do we get rid of him? Do we move on from Jamal Agnew?
I know you tried to go all deep into it, Luke, and try to look at it from a smart perspective. I like that. But I'm telling you, this what happened. Stafford asked for another game. And that's what I'm believing. That's just the way I go.
That's what you're going with? You're going with
yes,
the quarterback?
Like,
okay.
Yeah, I just it's like, hey, your take, you might be right, but I just feel like Stafford was like, yo, Give him one more game. That's just what I feel like. And I see Evan says Jelani doing better than Khalil Mack. That's actually funny. He's leading linebackers in pressures. But I do think he stays mainly because this is my thing, and I always bring this up with any position in any sport. Who is the replacement? And if you tell me Danny Amendola, I'm not gonna like that because Danny Amendola is our starting slot receiver.
Right.
And he's not young anymore. Like I remember Luke brought this up. He wasn't really on offense that much because he was back there returning punt, and I don't like that. I like Danny Amendola on offense, being with the team and doing what he does because he can get open. So I don't want to put one of our prime guys back there. I would rather put somebody like Ty Johnson back there just because he isn't a complete starter. But I think Jamal Agnew, he's given one more chance, and we gonna see what happens with him because I just think he needs to just go. And before the injury, that's what he was doing. He was just like hitting the ground and just running. But now it's like he sees the first person, he tries to juke them, or he runs around them. I'm like, just run forward. If they tackle you, so what? Because that's what he did. When he was an All-Pro, he literally just caught the ball. And people got to remember, he wasn't an All-Pro just because he had 2 touchdowns. Like he led the league in punt return, like it was like 15 yards per return or something like that. So he was being very, very effective. So I just need him to just catch the ball and run forward. Like I know that sounds simple, but apparently he's not doing it. So, and also CJ Moore, one of our best special teams guys, not going to be playing on Sunday. So I wonder how that's going to affect the team.
I mean, you got to keep in mind this too. Being a kick and punt returner, sometimes, yeah, you definitely got to catch the ball. Obviously, you definitely want to be able to run for it. But sometimes it's knowing when to wave a fair catch. It's knowing when to stay back into the end zone.
Yeah,
his confidence has been hit so hard that he's coming out making bad decisions. Right. And so, and I see Tone Capone says, I would be pretty upset if Agnew is not in his street clothes. He's ready for the move on as well. I seen General G. Berry hit Mike with the 50 Cent. You my favorite white guy.
He's my favorite real JGB.
So I mean, you definitely have those moments and stuff. So I think when you look at it overall, he himself has to find his confidence to get it done. Now,
yeah.
I see Dr. Andre Crawford Ministries. Shout out to you, man. He says put JD McKissick in and return punts and kickoff. That could be a good idea, actually.
Yeah, that could work. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, you definitely want to. You definitely going to get some mixture this time around because they're going to play around with it. Like last game, I think it was Ty Johnson on the punt return and Danny Amendola on the punt return, and Ty was on the kick, I believe.
Yeah, but he didn't get a chance to run it out.
Nah, well, they were smart. He's smart. That's part of the job. Part of the job is making sure you know when and when not to, when not to come out that back of that end zone. If we can succeed in doing that, everything else is a cakewalk. But that's just one part of the conversation. We got much more to go to. Mike?
Yes.
You up?
I answered already.
All right, guys, make sure you guys, I know, I got it. Make sure you guys like the video, man. We need to get them likes up so we can get everybody in here. Tone Capone says Agnew got to have pictures of certain things that I'm not going to repeat that sentence. But, I don't want Ty or Amendola to get potentially injured, put someone else in. I was of the same ilk, Riff Distortion, but make sure you guys like that video, man, so we can get this out to everybody.
Yeah, make sure you hit the like.
I just love that Dr. Andre Crawford Ministry said, "I'll pray for you" at the end of that statement.
Right, man, we hope your prayer works, man. I wish Agnew to run one back.
Yeah, I wish you well, but I'm gonna have to pray for you on this one. We ain't gonna be able to let you just do that. So I ain't mad at you. But with that being said, man, we got a lot of things that's going on in terms of moving people in and out. They've made a number of moves. And, one of the things that jumped out to me with all the moves that the Lions have made to the roster, cutting people, bringing people in and stuff. What do you think like what is your overall thought of these moves? Are you liking it, hate it, is mad? I mean, what are your feelings about that? Let's start off with you, J-Mo.
I think Lions fans, they overreact to the most irrelevant stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna say it doesn't mean anything, but I don't care if they cutting this guy on the practice squad and adding another running back and cutting this guy and adding another running back. Until they get on the roster, that's when I'll take it serious because I could care less. These guys are not gonna play. Now, if somebody gets hurt, that changes everything. Then I'll look at the running backs on the practice squad to look at their resumes. We still have Paul Perkins too. So I really don't. I'm not overreacting to every single little move, especially these practice squad moves, because to me it doesn't really matter that much. Now, only move I'm paying attention to, I see people talking about. We get Brandon Powell. I'm paying attention to it. Brandon Powell is still on Atlanta's practice squad, so I don't know why we don't want him, but to each his own with that. But to me, I'm not gonna overreact to these moves and the moves with the quarterback and Josh Johnson. I like Josh Johnson, but they're going young. And I don't have any problems with going young. I trust Bob Quinn's evaluation of whether it be quarterbacks. I trust his evaluation. If you feel like David Blau has something, then that's how he feels, and I'm going to trust him with that. He was good at Purdue. I watched a few games. He beat a team that we had a hard time beating. We ain't going to get into that. But we ain't gonna get into that.
Yeah, we're gonna stay away from
we
it.
not gonna get into that.
Yeah, it's a big weekend this weekend.
but that's just how I feel about it, though. Honestly.
All right, and for me, I think that what you said is exactly what it is. This is a youth movement. It's about being able to develop talent. It is something that we have been asking for a while, which is draft players, develop them, and let them be our own homegrown product. And we have not been doing that until now. So when you go through and you look at the backup quarterback situation and you see that it was Josh Johnson there, it now becomes a more clear question about, is Josh Johnson better than Bilal? Probably not. And if that's the case, then what do? You give the young guy a chance to play. Now, in the case of Jeff Driscoll, he's brought in to be reassurance that, okay, if we happen to have issues with the young guy, we got a veteran who can step in. But the question may become, well, why don't you do that with Josh Johnson? And the answer is a little bit more simpler than you may think. It's simply to say that Josh Johnson was let go so he can have a chance to get on with another team, because a lot of teams have lost quarterbacks as of recently. So, that's a huge part of the equation that we got to take a look at. But what say you, Mike, about this? I mean, what do you make of all these different moves? This is a lot of movement that we're seeing with the Detroit Lions.
I'm trusting what Bob Quinn has done. First, we started with Cook. We dumped him for Fales. We dumped him for Savage, who dumped him for Johnson. And now we're on to Blah and Driscoll. So we're moving in the right direction, because it seems like little by little, each quarterback that comes is just a little bit better than the next. So we're going in the right direction. We're getting some young guys up in here. That's what I want to see. I want to see them go young with the quarterback position. I want them to understand that it's important going forward to have a young guy backed up to potentially learn and take on more of a role in the future, or possibly use as trade bait. This is something that is the Bill Belichick has always done with the Patriots. They would draft a quarterback, they would get him young, develop him for a couple years, and turn around and trade him for a second-round pick. So this is something that I've always wanted to see with the Lions, whether it be we trade him future down the road or to be a backup or in a replacement at some point. That is something that I want to see. It's better than doing nothing. Stagnant seems to not work. Look, these guys, I like Josh Johnson, but it's time to go young. He's been in the league, 6-7 years. Might as well get somebody that has potential, because we all know Josh Johnson's not going to be a starter. So it's always good to go through and at least attempt to get young at the quarterback position. When it comes to these running backs, look, they felt like C.J. Anderson wasn't getting done. We're going to release him and pick up another guy and continue to keep pushing and changing the bottom of the roster to get the best 53 and to get the best practice squad. So I see no problem with it.
Yeah, and I think that, Dr. Andre is correct when he speaks of them, basically doing their due diligent works and sending a message. These are sending clear messages to people, letting them know that, hey, either come out, perform, or be shipped out. Okay, this is not the same old Lions. This is not your come here, get a check and do nothing no more. You come here to get a check, you're gonna be out collecting unemployment. Because what I can't do for you is let you sit here and take my money and not provide anything. Those are the small things that I think stand out. But TA, what say you? I mean, we making a lot of moves, and some of them is not gonna be clear to us right off the bat, but overall it has to be the absolute best moves that are to be made to improve the team. But what say you?
Man, I thought it was very when the moves first happened, when they released Josh Johnson and CJ Anderson, when all these moves started happening, it was very bizarre and puzzling to me. I thought, like, man, what is the Detroit Lions doing? What are they up to? You know what I'm saying? It's like you're not satisfied with the guy that, only reason why I was saying that because I'm thinking that they were satisfied with the play of Josh Johnson, a guy that came in for a few weeks and picked up the playbook really, really fast. And I thought that they would give him that opportunity and the benefit of the doubt. But it seems like they didn't want to they kept scouting. They were doing their homework. They were doing their due diligence and looking for a guy that they wanted to develop. And they finally found a young quarterback in David Blah that they can develop, have him on the team, and also bringing in that veteran as well. So I thought that the move was very bizarre. I was wondering what was the Detroit Lions doing and what are they up to right now, because the Lions have been doing a lot of puzzling things that leave you scratching your head. And hopefully all this works out for us. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully Matthew Stafford does not get injured or hurt or anything like that. No scars, anything like that. Because like you said, Luke, there has been a lot of quarterbacks that have been getting hurt. There's a few quarterbacks that's out for a while. You got Drew Brees out, and you have Big Ben Roethlisberger out. So you got quarterbacks that's out. And now the topic is, you know what I'm saying, should they bring in Colin Kaepernick? But I don't know. You know what I mean? If he's going to get that opportunity.
TA, the funny thing is everyone wanted Ty Johnson to be the backup, but the moment he's the backup, everybody's like, oh, wow, I can't believe it. Isn't this what y'all been asking for like the past 2 months?
This is what I wanted. This is definitely
right. This is what a lot of people wanted. So to me, this is what y'all wanted. This is what y'all got. CJ didn't produce. And Jane Willis says, "Tell me where Paul Perkins fits in the offense." I see he's another receiving running back. That's a great weapon to have when all your running backs are receiving threats. Well, he can run and he can catch. And to me, it's a system thing. So if somebody goes down, we have a third running back that does what everybody else does. He might not be as good. But that's the kind of culture you want to build if you're trying to have a real system to build a football team.
Because I know somebody too, J-Mo, some people wanted to bring back Mark Thompson as well. It was a lot of, I was just reading a lot of comments about like, why didn't they just bring Thompson back? Why did they
he don't catch well enough, and Paul Perkins is a little bit more proven. Right.
And we already know that you have to be versatile in this new Lions scheme and things that they're doing. So yeah, man, that's what I look. I thought that the moves were puzzling and bizarre, but I'm hoping that this thing pans out with David Blah being able to be developed as that quarterback. I didn't see a lot from him in the preseason when he was on Cleveland, but what I saw, you know what I'm saying, I know he still needs some work, and who doesn't need work, but hopefully this thing.
You talking about David Blah?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was solid in college though. So I mean, I like him.
No, I know his college. I already saw his college. I'm talking about like seeing him in the pros. I saw him with Purdue. I saw him beat Ohio State. I saw that.
We got Pride Time B in the building. What up though?
Folks, we have 87 in the chat and we only have 49 likes up. Please hit those likes. Again, it helps us defeat the mainstream legacy garbage media. So let's get it.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I think you fellas are all hitting on very good points. Y'all got to excuse me. I got a little bit of code that's coming on, so my voice may be in and out. My apologies. But I think you fellas are all hitting on things. And when you're talking about changing the roster and doing different things like that, that goes into a more major question, which is based on what you are seeing, have the Detroit Lions restarted to – no, let me rephrase it. How the Detroit Lions began to restore the roar? Let's start this off with you, 313 J-Mo.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning that, back in the day, the Lions had the talent, the love, the fan base, that people were supporting it, and they was liking the direction in which we were going. We knew that this is a team that should be winning games, and we knew that this is a team that is going to be winning games. And that's what I mean by, do you believe that they have restored that roar?
No, I'll say this. The fourth quarter of that first game had us wanting to fire back Patricia. Let's be honest about it.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that horrible quarter, like, I mean, in a sense, I mean, our team has been up and down, but this is why I say we restored the roar. These draft picks. I mean, TJ Hawkinson, when I was like, all right, yeah, I'm going to just be the greatest tight end ever in my first game. And Jelani Tavai is a rookie, and he leads all, inside or outside? I can't remember. Inside or outside linebackers in pressures. Jelani Tavai, we know he's not better than Khalil Mack. Nowhere near. But he's playing better right now. He doesn't, Khalil Mack gets double teams and stuff. I'm not doing that. Of course, I know football. But he's playing better. And it's just funny that when you see these guys, and then you see Tracy Walker replacing Glover Quinn, leading all DBs and tackles. Luke, I know you don't like that, but still, he had an interception in the first game. He's balling out. You see the free agents we brought in, Justin Coleman, paid him a lot, playing well. Rashawn Mel, playing well through an injury. Now, I know the defensive line is in flux a little bit, but I think they'll get it together, man. I think it's just about continuity, and Ashawn Robinson is playing great. You can tell he wants his contract. And then when you look at offense, our receiver, Kenny Galladay, this is supposed to be his first year as a number one receiver. He's showing up. So, and then when you think about the way the team is playing, I know we didn't really play our best game against the Chargers, but like I said in my video, I don't care what y'all telling me. Same old Lions lose to the Chargers in that game. I've seen it too many times. I'm just being 100. Stafford don't have a fourth quarter comeback, probably throw another fourth quarter pick, and we lose. I've seen it too many times. So going off of the drafting and looking at the way that the roster is greatly built, I think we're starting there, and beating the injured hobbled Eagles team will prove my point even more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, what say you, Mike? I mean, J-Mo came out the gate with it. I mean, do you feel like they have restored the roar? I mean, are you seeing anything that reminds you of what occurred in 1991 when they made the playoffs?
Well, let me start with what I'm very good at. Now, I have a degree in economics, and when it comes to business and small business, how do you win in a business? You have to reform the economics and the management of the financial flow. What's taking place with Bob Quinn is he has restored this cap to a normal and higher cap type team compared to what we've had in years past. He's very balanced when he's picking his free agents and making sure that the contract matches the productivity that is resulted from the player. This is something that we're seeing. So far, due his free agents, he's done well. He's made some that you say, like Flowers has not lived up to his contract, but majority compared to other people in the league, he's doing a fantastic job when it comes to cap and picking free agents. Now let's look to drafting players and developing players. His draft strategy is fantastic. It's on point. He's getting individuals in the later rounds. That's very important to be a successful franchise. You got to be able to draft players in the later rounds because teams literally go through 30% of the roster each offseason. So it's vital to find young guys in college to join the squad and to help this team win, because you have to manage the cap. And how do you manage the cap is with young college players that just came out that is on the cheap. Be able to replace individual veterans that are on the team. This is something we have seen. We have seen it. He's developing players, and it's be able to switch them out with veterans that may be too expensive come the next year. We are starting the strategy where he built a frame of what he's doing with this team, and that's why we're not the same old Lions. That's why the roar is getting restored. We need to get those W's to show what all the hard work he has done in the off seasons. But I do believe it is much different than in years past, and the roar will be restored.
Okay. Now, I have tried my best to avoid this Jalen Ramsey question because we talked about it on Tuesday, and I see the chat is going crazy over this Jalen Ramsey. So let's get into it. Let's just ask the question one more time for the true of heart, and see where we get with it. I mean, let's start off with this with UTA.
Yeah.
Should the Detroit Lions trade for Jalen Ramsey? I mean, and if they should, You know, if they should, what are the chances of us getting them? Because I know that he recently liked the fans' comment about Detroit is known for 20s or something like that,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
trade. So should we trade for Jalen Ramsey? And if so, what's the likelihood that we do?
Okay, with Jalen Ramsey, you're talking about an all-pro corner. You're talking about a guy that has played in all 50 games since he's come into the NFL. You're talking about a guy that is one of the best corners in the National Football League. And sure, there's a lot of people that's vying for his talents because he may be the player that get a couple of these teams over the edge, especially when you have to go against the Patriots. But at the same time, with the Lions situation, if you're looking at it from the money aspect, then, I know some fans are up and roar about, well, we have to give him a new contract. You know what I'm saying? Well, you're going to have to give, you're going to have to give Slay a contract too. So you have to look at it that way if you want to renegotiate with Slay. But with Jalen Ramsey, he's only 24 years of age. He's a young guy still. He's not even in his prime. Normally you're in your prime around 27 years old. You start to be get into your prime. And with the Lions, with the situation, even though I know Melvin them is playing well, it's a no-brainer to me. I would get him. But I know some of us don't like that. We don't like that we had to give up 2 first round picks for him. But some players are just worth that.
Wait,
man.
so you would give up 2 first round picks?
I would do it. I would do it. I would go out on the wing.
Yeah, man. I wasn't ready for that one. I wasn't ready for that.
Let me finish my statement.
No, we're gonna let you finish. I just had to ask that for clarification.
Okay, yeah. I would do it. Because I know what type of impact he would have on my team. But I know some of us is thinking about, okay, he's going to be a cancer in the locker room. He's going to be this. He's going to be that. But, issues can always be handled and worked out. That's the biggest thing when a player has issues. Everybody wants to win. But at the same time, when you can get a player that comes in and change your culture, one guy, just like Khalil Mack did the Bears last season, he came over, changed the culture of that team, and they started winning some football games off the defense, more so than the offense of getting quarterback Mitchell Trubisky. So I know it's a lot, and I'm saying a lot about getting Ramsey, but I think that he would be worth it because he's young, and I think that he would give me that dog mentality that I've been looking for, and he's going to come out and play. And that's the biggest thing that I would do it. I would do it.
I mean, listen, I can't knock your view for that. I mean, because it's just like the people who go out. I see people all the time who go out and buy rust buckets and restore them, and I'm like, I can't do that. I won't do it. I need my car to be ready to go on spot. So right. I get it. But for me personally, when I go through and I look at it, there are too many things that concern me. One is setting a bad precedence. If you go out and you give up 2 first round picks for Jalen Ramsey, you have to re-sign him. He is on the last year of his deal, which means that now you're going to have to re-sign him. If you well, that's fine. But if you do then re-sign him, now the question becomes, okay, what are you going to do with Slay, who's been here through so much? And do you pay him? And if you don't pay him, now the president is being set and told to the other players on the team that, hey, you can be here as long as you want. Don't mean you're going to get paid. And that right there is a problem for me. That's one problem. The other problem is the only reason he wants out of Jacksonville is because they're not winning. And the frustration is building up. So what happens when the Lions have a down year? What are you going to say? Get me up out of here? If you look at it in all honesty, there is so much more to do in Florida than it is to do in Michigan. Now, that's saying if Jalen Ramsey is an outdoorsy person, then it makes sense. But if he's not an outdoorsy person, I don't think it's a good move to trade 2 first round picks for Jalen Ramsey or to trade, say, Darius Slay for Jalen Ramsey, because the precedence that is set will set the team back in a way that we do not want. And to me, his ability is not the same as, say, a Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack has direct effect on the game.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, we'll see where they end up at the end of their careers, but I'm only giving up 2 firsts for a guy like Khalil Mack or a guy like Aaron Donald. Why? Because they're generational players. They are. Jalen Ramsey might be the best corner in the league. He might be the second best. But at the end of the day, he's just a corner. He's not Deion Sanders. He's not Charles Woodson.
Nope.
You see what I'm saying? He's not Darrell Reeves. So I'll give up a first and a fourth. I'll give up a first and a fifth and maybe a player. I'll give up a lot, but
he's
two
still
first.
no,
Look, TA. Look, so let me ask you this. So basically, you're giving up TJ Hawkinson and Frank Ragnow with Jalen Ramsey. No way. There's no way I could do that. But I'll give up a first and a fourth though. Like I'll do that.
I would rather give up like a second or a third for him. That's what I would rather do.
But the thing is, though, it's too much draft capital when the guy, he's not Aaron Donald. Like he's not Khalil Mack.
I think what you're saying, J-Mo.
We know we're talking about one of the best corners, though. He's one. This guy, he ain't even.
No, I think he's the best corner in the league. But who's a better player?
He hasn't even played out his full potential yet.
Yeah, but who's a better player, Khalil Mack or Jalen Ramsey?
Well, right now it'll be Khalil Mack.
And that's why you pay for him.
But I think we're getting a little bit off track, and I want to get us back on track because I think one of the things that J-Mo is pointing out is this idea that there are better options. And I'll give you a perfect example. If you bring in Jalen Ramsey, then you're stunting the growth of Manny Warrior. So you're killing that right there off the rip, because now what you have is a guy who's going to take longer to get on the field. And I believe cornerbacks need playing time to get better. But my thing is, why would I go out and spend 2 first-round picks on Jalen Ramsey when I can go out and spend a 5th-round pick and pick up Patrick Peterson?
Yeah.
So I can
before Ramsey, Peterson was the best corner in the league.
But we're talking about the youth movement, though. We're talking about younger guys. He's only 24 years of age.
No, I get it.
I know his age and his talent. I just told you, I think he's the best corner in the league, but he's not worth TJ Hawkinson and Frank Ragnow.
Well, I think, like I said, I think the way you're looking at it is a little bit different. But what say you, Mike? What say you? Do you think we should trade for Jalen Ramsey, and do you think there's a chance that we get him? I know that there's a number of teams looking at him, including the Minnesota Vikings, including the Kansas City Chiefs, including the Philadelphia Eagles. I understand that there are people who are going to look at this guy and say, hey, he's worth that to us. But for you, Mike, would you trade for Jalen Ramsey? And if you would, do you think we got a good chance of getting him?
First off, it would depend what the compensation is. And right now, if they're wanting 2 first-round picks, absolutely not. I was just talking about the cap situation and the ability of Bob Quinn to draft teams. Giving up 2 first-round picks is possibly giving up 2 studs on your team, whether it be offense or defense. You think of Jalen Ramsey, you give up 2 first-round picks. What if he gets hurt? You're really, really screwed, and you simply hampered absolutely your franchise for a while. Okay, it's vital to constantly continue to understand that the franchise of the Lions is a business, and you have to look not just at the now, but you do have to look year 2, year 3, year 4. You have to have a plan. And I think if you're giving up 2 first-round picks, you're hampering that plan and potentially risking the franchise for years. Now, if the compensation was to drop, say, to a 1st and a 4th, or 1st and a 5th and a player, I'm all for it, depending on the player. You have the ability right now to sign this individual to a nice contract extension, understanding that you're thinking that Darius Slay is not going to be on the team a couple years from now. This guy's younger. Then you can match him up with Amani Awarie next year and years past. But to give up 2 potential starters or studs for a team for one, it could hamper specifically, again, when it comes to injury. Man, we know what that's like when you have a first-round pick that gets injured and cannot be on the field when it comes to Ezekiel Ansah. And he had such talent, but the injuries really hurt our team. Now, we know Ramsey's not an injured history, but that does come into account when you're talking first-round picks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now
I do.
Hold on, I just want to combat that 1 second. Now, Mikey, I know you made the statement of, you know what I'm saying, no, you wouldn't do it and give up to 2 first-round picks, but I'm gonna look at it from this perspective. When you're drafting, you don't know how well the first-round pick is going to be. You don't know what you're getting when you're getting the first-round pick, because when you look at it, the situation, you don't know how good the first-round pick is going to really truly be. You're hoping that these guys pan out to be a TJ Hawkinson and Frank Ragnow or whoever. You're hoping that be the scenario. But if you look at this year's first-round class, not everybody is making headlines. Just because you get picked in the first round, that doesn't mean that you're going to be a star player.
Well, let me counter that with saying that it's not actually luck. I'm looking at Bob Quinn's record, and his draft has been impeccable. So I trust Bob Quinn's drafting, his scouting team, far more than I do when it comes to picking up a player right now for 2 first-round picks. I look at the history of Bob Quinn's draft, and when you say some franchise, it may be 50-50. When Bob Quinn's draft, it's more like 80-20. I feel like when he picks a player, they're going to be a valuable asset to our team. Yes, he screwed up with Tease Tabor, but you got to look at all the picks that he has done. We're getting 6th-round picks, 3rd-round picks. We're getting undrafted rookies as well that's making the team and becoming an impact for this team. So I trust Bob Quinn's ability to draft, and that does give me the ability to say, okay, I know he can eventually get a stud with the 1st-round pick and another 1st-round pick. If we gave that up, you're in my opinion, it's more of a risk to give up 2 first-round picks for one player.
Agree, especially for a player that, and I think Mr. Washington hit the nail on the head where he says, "Attention, gentlemen, the Detroit Lions will only trade for high character locker room guys. It is great to want Jalen Ramsey, but it will never happen in real life." And I think that's the reality of it.
About it. We just
I get that we are just talking about it, and I'm just saying, but I think that it makes more sense that to turn around and say spend a 5th-round pick for a guy like Peterson than to go out and spend 2 first, because the youth movement has already started. That's what Amani Warrior is here for. That's what Mike Ford is here for. That's what Will Harris is here for. That's what Tracy Walker is here for. They have already started the process for getting younger. That's why you got the rookie traded from the Browns to the Lions at quarterback, and David Bilal. So you got these different guys there that's going to do that. But I mean, it's all notable stuff, and like I said, it's one of the things where I really tried to avoid it. So
no, but to answer the question officially, I think Jalen Ramsey, the reason why he's liking our pictures and stuff, because he's a smart football player. If I'm Jalen Ramsey, where would I want to go from a football perspective? The Patriots or the Lions? Why? Because they play man 80% of the time, and they both are loaded on defense. So I'm pretty sure he probably want to be here. I would want to be here too, because I know the kind of defense that we're playing. But if getting Jalen Ramsey, one thing I say about Bob Quinn is he never misses in the 1st round. That's why I know Taylor Decker, but you can't really call that a miss. He's a solid player. But that's why I'm saying I'm 100% confident about Quinn in the 1st round. I'm never worried about him in the 1st round because he never misses. And it's like right now, would you trade T.J. Hawkinson and Jarrett Davis for Jalen Ramsey? Because that's basically what would happen.
Well, but I think on TA's side point, I understand what he's saying when he's saying we can't say that that's who we're going to get. Those guys you're talking about, we got one of them in the top 10, the other one was in the top 20 or something like that. So, if you tell me that you're guaranteed to get certain people, that's one thing. But I also agree on the other end with Mike, where he says this guy, that our general manager has done a phenomenal job of drafting, and I think that we can't overlook that. But this is one of the things.
Ramsey, but 2 first-round picks.
I mean, but this is one of the things that's not going to die slowly. Again, right now we have 100 people in the chat. I think we got as high as 105 at one point. Let's get those likes up, ladies and gentlemen, because that helps get this video circulated, and we want to do just that. Now, we're moving on to the next topic, which is, after 2 weeks of football, we have got a chance to see what the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and special team coach have done. How would you rate the head coach, the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, and the special teams coach? Put a grade on it. Let's start off with you, Mike.
When it comes to the coaching of the Lions, just the special teams, or are we going to be talking about all the coaches?
All the coaches. We're talking about special teams, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coach, all of them.
Okay, let's start with special teams coordinator. Right now, he's done a very poor job when it comes to coaching these players up to perform their duties when it comes to special teams. The blocks are not there. The missed assignments is not there. The preparation seems to be off. They're very undisciplined with the flags. I'm giving this guy a grade of an F right now. And if it continues, they need to consider releasing him and finding somebody else, because it's inexcusable how poor the play of special teams is time now. Now we go ahead and jump to the defensive coordinator. It's hard for me to rate Pasqualoni due to the fact this is really Patricia's defense. And so basically it's 1-1A. And so I'm giving him a decent job time now. If you look at the secondary is stacked. I believe the linebacking core is performing higher than my expectation was. However, the defensive line is performing a little lower than my expectation was. So I'm going to give him a B. And considering the fact, again, this is Matt Patricia's defense, they go hand in hand. When it comes to Darrell Bevell, I'm giving this man an A right now. His play calling is fantastic. Me as a viewer and as a fan, I don't know what play is coming up next, and that is something that is very vital to beat the opposing defense. You got to think of the game as a chess match. If the opposing team knows what the play is going to be, it's going to be very, very hard for that offense to move the ball. They're starting to move the ball. They're actually making sure they run. Right now, we haven't seen major success when it comes to the run game, but they are very balanced, and they're forcing it, and which is good. They're not running away from it. I do like that, and it shows very much good potential for this offense. And as long as they continue to learn, man, that A could go to an A+. When it comes to Matt Patricia right now, I'm going to give him a C. I feel like he did get in good coordinators to help the team out, except for the special teams. But his in-game presence of time and clock management is a big negative right now. It's bad in week 1. It got a little bit better in week 2. But as a head coach, you need to have all your I's dotted and T's crossed, because it's a game of inches in the NFL. And one costly mistake can cost a game. If we looked at the Arizona game, that was the case. It should have been a W. So when it comes to these coaches, the potential is there, but they just need to keep improving and show that they're the individuals to lead this team.
Yeah, I mean, man, listen, you was on fire with that one. Lord Jesus,
I was like, man,
put him out, put him out. I mean, but what's
put him out, baby?
Hey, what say you, TA? I mean, you know, how would you grade the head coach, the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, and the special teams coach? What did you see after 2 weeks of play that gives you these grades?
Right now I'm going to give Darrell Bevell the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give him an A-. I think that he's been doing a phenomenal job with running the offense and trying to switch up things and keeping the defense honest out there. So I like what he's doing. He's going to have to get more aggressive as we get to play these next few games or whatever. But I definitely want to see Kerryon get more touches in the backfield, because he's still a young guy and he needs to get more touches out there. With the special teams, they got some work to do. You know, it's a lot of loopholes with the special teams. You know, we know we have the situation with Agnew going on, but I think that stuff that it can be corrected. Those are some of the minor things that can be corrected. And with also with Patricia, I'm going to have to give Patricia. I'll give him a C+B. I definitely think he's still learning, guys, and that's the thing of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how long does a coach need to show that he's leading the team? And I think that he's gotten a little bit better from last season, but I think that he needs just to get a little bit more aggressive out there, as far as not, you know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about yelling and all that type of stuff, but I'm just saying more aggressive with his thinking, more aggressive on his game plan as he go from team to team, and recognize that this is the season where he wants to win games, because definitely if you don't win games this year, they're going to dog Matt Patricia, and they're going to say, like they've said about all the Patriot staff members that left the team, that here's another guy that left Bill Belichick's system and could not get any wins. Most guys that have left Bill Belichick have not won football games like that. So hopefully if he can do that and start correcting the little minor things and making sure that he's got that communication with his team and with his staff and things of that nature, then I think that he'll get better out there.
I mean, and I think that's fair, and I see that the chat is saying like, "Hey, give him a little bit of time. It's still a little bit early."
Yeah, it's still
but
early for him.
I mean, it is still early, but you know, we have something that we can grade. You know, it's not like we don't have anything. This is not like we are in the off season and we're trying to grade what they're doing. We know what's going on in 2 weeks, and so that's why we're discussing it. You know, so J-Mo, how do you grade the head coach, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and special teams coach?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to do the defense.
Oh, I'm sorry, my apologies. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, hold on, J-Mo. I just want to do the defense. The defense, the pretty much with the defense, man, we gotta get pressure, man. We have not gotten pressure like we should. We was very high. I know a lot of us, we were ragging on our team and saying that our defensive line was going to be legit. We was going to be one of the best defensive line, but right now we are not playing like it. So we got to get better on that defensive line. We got to get some sacks and we got to get pressures on the quarterback. And also, I think that the linebackers have been playing solid. And I got to definitely give a shout out to Rashawn Melvin because he has been playing exceptionally well, way better than the years that Nevin Lawson gave us. And I really
my
like
goodness,
that.
man. Like, ooh.
Don't even bring that man name up.
Yeah. So
TA, when they say night and day, there's a picture of Rashawn Melvin and there's a picture of Nevin Lawson. Like, this is night and this is day.
Right. So yeah. So he's giving us Rashawn Melvin is giving us a new look back there, man, and he's playing exceptionally well. I didn't think that Coleman would play as well, especially with all the money that they paid him. But he's panning out to be a solid slot guy. And if we can keep this up, I think the continuity of the defense gelling all season long will get better as the season goes. But we're gonna have to get better because we gotta face some tough teams coming up. So I'm going to give the defense. I'm gonna give those guys I give them a B-.
Okay.
Wait, so you're giving what's his name, Pascaloni, a B-?
Yeah, I'll give him a B-.
All right, you up, J-Mo?
Man, and I just want to preface this by saying I'm being nice. Matt Patricia, you get a C. I'm being nice because I'm for real. I don't think Luke gonna be nice. I know he's not gonna be nice, but that fourth quarter, man, I can't get over it because you know it always trickles down to Stafford when we don't win games, and that fourth quarter, I just can't get over how we had the perfect play call set up. And y'all know how I went. I'm not about to even go into it, but Matt Patricia gets a C. I do like how the team responded with the situational football. The first game, we weren't perfect in situational football. The second game, we improved in situational football. And even if the Chargers made mistakes, they still only scored 10 points and didn't score in the second half. So it's about execution with that. We all know Paul Pasqualoni is not the defensive coordinator, but I would give him like a B+ just because our linebackers. I mean, I feel great about this team on defense because I don't know what's the best unit on defense. Is it the linebackers or is it the secondary? I know how people feel about the defensive line, but 3 of our starting defensive linemen weren't in training camp. So I don't think that their condition is if Snacks and Mike Daniels and Trey Flowers they coming off injury. So if everybody was healthy and they all was in training camp, snaps held out or whatever, I would think that I would hold them to a high standard is what I'm saying. But Ashawn Robinson has been good. Romeo Okwara is still himself. But the thing about the D-line is I think what people are forgetting is our pressure comes from the linebackers. Kennard has 3.5 sacks. Jelani Tavai leads all inside linebackers and pressures. Christian Jones, I destroyed this dude. I was 100% wrong. He is a good linebacker. I was wrong on that. And and Jalen Reeves-Maybin, when he's been able to fill in, and this is why I rate the linebacker core so high, because our best linebacker isn't playing, and we're still this good. What's going to happen when Jared Davis come back? It's going to be a problem. And then Rashawn Melvin and Justin Coleman have been amazing. Darius Slay is still Darius Slay, and Quandre Diggs, and then Tracy Walker has been great. So I'll give them a B+. Darrell Bevel, I wanted to give him a B, but this is the reason I'm going to give him an A. Because Stafford is his old self. He's his old 2011 gunslinging self, highest passes per attempt in his career. The Lions lead the NFL in plays over 10 yards. We're number 1 in the NFL. There's misdirection. There's a lot of creativity with the offense. And then, after I don't know if I would give Bevel credit for this, but after the showing of the offensive line not protecting the quarterback, we won. they responded even without Taylor Decker and protected the quarterback in week 2. And I really like how Darrell Bell was using the tight ends. I mean, I know in the second game, you know, because the way Chargers were covering us, they didn't do what we wanted them to do. But he knows how to use all of our players, and that's my point. He knows how to use Galladay. Like when he called a double post route, Jim Bob Cooter never called a double post route in his life. I'm sorry for saying cuss words, but you know, that's how I rate. I have to give Darrell Bell A because Stafford is playing the best he's probably played since 2011. If we're going off the first 2 games, because since 2011 through the first 2 games, that was the last time we were undefeated through the first 2 games. Special teams, clear F. Do I have to expound on that? I mean, I don't think I should, but they have been horrible. And it's not just Agnew, it's covering. I mean, they're giving up a lot of yards. These dudes getting to the 31-yard line. Like I said, I don't really have to expound on that. I'll leave that to y'all. But special teams is a F. Oh, did I miss the unit, or was that everybody?
No, you got everybody. I mean, and you was right about me not being nice because the head coach to me gets a D.
I knew he was gonna do that, bro.
Yeah, he got no. I mean, listen. Let's be honest about this. Let's be honest about this. Your game management is still a suspect. You're mismanaging timeouts. You're mismanaging challenges. You're mismanaging, and it's not just the fourth quarter. What about the second half against the Chargers? You can't play that defense to give up that kind of chunk yardage. The conditioning of the players at times is to be questioned. And on top of all that, I don't like how he, for the last few weeks, he played to not lose the game versus playing to win. Although I will say the last drive was a style that you would see for a team who plays to win. I was happy to see that.
You talking about on defense?
Oh, on offense. The last 2 drives.
From offense. But I think that's like more Darrell Bevel.
But that's my point, which gets me to my point of Darrell Bevel. I'll give him a B. I'm not ready to crown him yet. In the words of the late Denny Green, I'm not ready to crown him yet. But it's certainly a night and day from what we saw from Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's certainly night and day, and you cannot get around that. And in terms of the defensive coordinator, I'm giving him a C-, and the special teams is getting an F. He has to figure out how to get these guys with a fire lit underneath their butt. It's too relaxed over there. They're not keeping lanes. They're not blocking. And then the first thing we point to is Jamal Agnew. No, we're going to work our way all the way down the list because these guys got to get him lanes, and they haven't did that. He's basically being asked to do what Devin has to do, and nobody has done what Devin has to do. There's only been a few, like him, Dante Hall. Those guys were a different breed to create those on their own. We cannot keep skipping over that. So for me, they get an F. Now, I've seen questions in here about from Ellen Jackson, who asks about us picking up Taco Charlton. He is no longer available. He is on the Miami Dolphins, signed today. Thank God. And if he was available, I want no parts of him. He was not very good at Michigan, and he wasn't good in the pros. That's just my opinion. Secondly, I saw questions from Dolo Dynamite, who talked about the big cornerback that was released from the Bears and added to their practice squad from Valdosta State. Yes, he's still on their practice squad. No, we have not picked him up. Nobody has did it. Dolo Dynamite also asks why we haven't paid Slay yet, because this is what you do when you want somebody to be motivated. Earn your money.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, Ashawn Robinson is not getting that much credit, but he's been playing great both weeks. And he wants a contract.
Right. So what better way to keep him motivated? I mean, go and ask the Bears how they feel about the contract they gave to Khalil Mack, because this is year 2, and I'm still trying to wait for a sighting.
I want to ask you though, so because I really think this is a debate. What's better, our linebacking core or our secondary? And I know Jared Davis is not even playing.
It's a push for me. It's an easy answer for me. It's a push. It's not, to me, it's not debatable. It's a push because each part is contingent upon the next. So it's absolutely a push.
They all just balling in. That's what we're gonna go with.
Yeah, right. Because it when you look at it, they have worked it really well, because we certainly ain't got no. Now, if you had to ask what is better, the D line and linebackers.
You knew I wasn't gonna ask that.
You know what I'm saying? The D line and secondary. But because the D line is not generating the push that we need, that's where we're having the problems at, and we need to figure out how to do it.
I asked that because in years past, our linebacking core and our secondary was usually the strength before that 1 year with Sue. But usually our back seven were so reliant on the defensive line to be good. But it's like our defensive line is relying on them, and Jared Davis is not even playing. Like, I'm just very surprised by how good they are.
I get it. I get it, and again, we have gotten as high as 109 in the chat today. Let's make sure we get those likes up. If you have not hit that like button, please do so right now. And if you have hit that like button, give me one more like in the chat. I love to see who's still with us and who rocking and listening. So let's light the chat up with some of those thumbs up if you can, because it does mean a lot, man. We really do want to make sure that we can give you guys everything that you need and be able to be informed about it. We don't want to just come out here and sprout out random things. These are things that we have already researched and we discussed. And if we don't know, I promise you the response is going to be, I don't know. I ain't versed on it, so.
We got 89 likes in the chat, guys. Let's get those likes up to 100, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, but moving on with that, I mean, we got to move on to the question that I'm pretty sure people want to get into, and that is that Eagles game. And so we've talked about the different acquisitions that we've made with the team as it stands right now, and we have also talked about the different things as it stands with how can I best the coaching. Now the real question becomes, given what we know about the Eagles, okay, given what we know about the Eagles and their injury, should Detroit Lions fans expect the Detroit Lions to win this game? We'll start off with you, Mike.
Yes, you should expect us to win this game. You should expect this team to win every single game. The whole point of this franchise to going forward is to win, win, and win. This team has the talent to beat any team in the league, whether it be a very quality team or a low first-round pick team. We should be beating teams. Now, whether or not the injuries when it comes to the Eagles will come into a factor, that I do believe it will. But even if it wasn't, I do expect them to win. I expect them to win every game. I think if you do not have that mentality as an NFL player, you're failing yourself, your teammates as well. You have to go in there and assume I am a playoff caliber team, and I'm going to come into your house and win. That's what they need to do. That's what they should do. It is time. It is time to, when people are telling you that you're not good and they have ratings that the Lions are going to get blown out, you need to take that as motivation and get that win. That's what you should do. You expect to win. You need to win. And absolutely, 110%, they need to expect to win this game, no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm saving J-Mo for later because I know he's got his animosity high. So we gonna go on over to UTA. I mean, listen, it's right now reported that we know that Deshaun Jackson's not playing, right? We know that Elshon Jeffries may not play, and when he did play, he only played 6 snaps. So if he do play, he's on the snap count.
Right.
Should Lion fans expect this to be a win?
Yeah, I got to roll with MicroMike on this. Yes, you should be expecting for the Detroit Lions to win. Why not? Why not? It's our time right now. So why not go out and try to win? Now, the thing of it is, don't go in this game lollygagging like you did against the Arizona Cardinals, because you can't do that. You got to go in this game focused. Just because they don't get a lot of their key players, that does not mean that you can't lose. Now, the attitude, what we take in there is, yes, we coming in here and we're going to come in your house and we're going to punch you in the mouth and then we're going to leave. But at the same time, you have to be able to respect those guys too, because anytime we play the Eagles, it's always a tough game with the Eagles. Always. But the expectations are very high. Yes, we should win, but don't go in there overconfident thinking that you're just going to blow the team out. And, because it can always be somebody steps up on their team that you didn't think that was going to step up with it. We still got to face Jordan Howard in the backfield, and we're really going to get to test our defense out. Can we really stop the run? Can we stop the run? Because we really haven't looked as sharp in stopping the run as we should be. But I think that those guys will hone in and focus and do the things that they need to do. But I definitely think that if you're a Lion fan, you have to have the confidence. And if you, the coach of the Lions, you have to have the confidence. Get those guys pumped up and let them know we're going to Philly to get a win. We coming back with a win, nothing less.
And the truth is for me personally, if any fan who don't expect us to win, I need to ask you, who are you? Because the truth is what do you need for motivation? Like, let's be honest about this. Let's be honest about this. The cards are basically being placed on the table and the stars are lining up. And if you have not paid attention, we managed to come out of each one of these games with no scars. Okay. Now, before somebody come in and say, "Oh, you jinxed us," no, I'm pointing out to you that there are teams who are suffering. You know, who there are teams who are suffering right now, and we are not. And we need to be able to take advantage of that. The good teams take advantage of people's weakness. I'm hearing rumors and stuff that Fletcher Cox may not play. He was one of the main people I'm worried about. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Hey, Luke, they got 13 players on their roster.
I was about to say they got 15 players on the injury report.
Players on the rosters that's on the injury report.
Yeah, but I'm just merely going through the key ones that was gonna scare me. You see?
No, he had full practice today. He gonna play.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's one of them things where I just try to go through and I look at those guys who can be a huge issue. But when I look at this game, I had it originally as a loss for us because I figured we was gonna dogfight with the Chargers, but then I didn't know that the Chargers were going to have the scars that they had, and so I didn't expect for that to be a dogfight no more. And then here we are getting ready to go against the Eagles, and I'm like, wait a minute, they got all these injuries. We got to take advantage of that. Yeah. And the last thing I want to see us do is go in, and I know it's still going to be a tough win because it's on the road. It's absolutely on the road. But anything less than the expected win from us as fans, we're letting the team off the hook. We can't call the team. We can't call the team a division winning team, a playoff team, and they can't beat teams who are ailing with injuries. So for me, their expectations need to be high for them to win. Now, I did save J-Mo for last because J-Mo has been taking some exception to some of the Eagles fans and how they are coming at him about this. So, J-Mo,
I'm here.
Keep it clean. Keep it clean.
All I'm saying is I want us to utterly destroy this team. I think we should destroy this team. I know a lot of y'all, it's the Eagles and it should be a competitive game because it's always competitive. No, we should destroy this team. And I'm going to tell you why. You don't have Deshaun Jackson. You don't have Alshon Jeffrey. You don't have Jernigan. You don't have Malik. You don't have Corey Clement. You don't have Dallas Goedert. You don't have one of your best offensive linemen. And it's like 6 other people on the injury report, including Fletcher Cox. This team don't have an offense right now. They got Zach Ertz and Al Galore. Noble said he's worried about their running game. I'm not. It's just Jordan Howard. Clement is hurt. I'm not. We should dominate this team. This should be one of those statement wins. And the Philly fans have been they treating this like a bye week, y'all. They're like, oh yeah, it's the Lions. We're gonna beat them. They've been talking a lot. I mean, they've been talking so much. I'm starting to say crazy things like I hope certain players get scars, but I'm not gonna wish that on their QB. Look, their QB is hurt too. So let me ask y'all this: if the Eagles was coming to Detroit and Stafford was hurt, Ashawn was out, Jesse James was hurt, Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay was hurt, do you think we would beat the Eagles and they was fully loaded?
No.
They would crush us, and that's why we should crush them. That's exactly why. And now, looking at this a little bit deeper, Jared Davis looks like he's gonna be back. And if he I didn't think he would come back this week, but I've heard it from multiple sources. He looks like he's gonna be back, and that's gonna bolster us even more. And also, the Eagles secondary is 30. It's 2 weeks, but they 32nd ranked in the pass right now. They're not good at all. Their best unit is the defensive line, but what's the key to that defensive line? Jim Schwartz is rotating guys. Well, guess what? 3 of their rotational guys are hurt, so they're not going to be able to rotate guys. They're going to be more tired now. Yeah, they're going to be more tired now. The Eagles' linebacking core is questionable. Their best players are like Malcolm Jenkins and Fletcher Cox, and I'm just looking at it from the perspective of it's more injuries on this team than it was on the Chargers last week. And I know it's game on the road and this game is supposed to be tough, but I really think we should go in there and whoop on them. I mean, the Redskins was up on them 17-0. They went to Atlanta and got destroyed, and they were healthier in both of those games. And to me, it comes to Matt Patricia and his scheme, and it comes to our coaching. Look, if the game will probably end up being close, but I really expect us to dominate this team. And it's no disrespect to the Eagles, but if you don't have your starting offense, the way our secondary and linebackers have been playing, even with the defensive line giving Phillip Rivers tons of time, how are they going to even score points? I'm being 100% serious. How are they going to score points? I don't know. But I did want to read one comment, though. Adam Washington says, "What up, though, DSA? I'm a huge Detroit Lions Pride Nation family member, and I just want to thank you all. The media never covers my team, and you all individually and collectively provide great content." That's what we're trying to do, man. We trying to give you guys the unbiased media and just something fair. And I know I'm a little bit upset because the Eagles fans are literally treating this like a bye week. And, it just doesn't make any sense to me when you look at it from a football perspective. We're loaded and we're healthy. And this is the last thing I'll say because I've been talking too much. My fault. We getting better every week. Whether I don't care, I know we've been playing sloppy and we haven't been perfect. But one thing I noticed is we're getting better every week. Jelani Tobias getting better every week. And guess what? That boy TJ, they ain't going to be able to cover him. It's going to be a problem. I really think it might be close, but we should dominate this team. I really feel that way.
I mean, and to be honest with you, I agree. I think that this is one of the games where they have to start to show it. And that's why I said it needs to start with us up front. We got to be able to do some things that's going to affect the game. And that D line has got to come ready to rock and roll. The linebackers on blitz has got to be ready to come and rock and roll. The secondary got to be ready to come and rock and roll because those are the things that we're going to look at. And if we are unable to achieve that, we should have a long look in the mirror because for me, this is one of those games where we do it. And when you look up and you see people like Mr. Washington saying things like that about us covering this and us working hard to do this, it's appreciative because we're trying to make sure that not only do we come to you with the facts, we pull the facts away from the BS that they put out in the legacy media. If you go to MicroMike channel, you will see that MicroMike has took to the media when they lied about stuff. You definitely know I take to the media. I don't even come.
My thing with the Eagles is if we struggle with this team, I'm actually going to be a little bit concerned because I'm not underselling this and overrating the Lions. We should whoop this team. Now, we on the road and we might not, but if we win by like 3 or 1 or 2, I'm gonna be a little bit concerned to be honest with you.
Well, I was concerned by the 3-point win against the Chargers.
Hey man, it wasn't a great win, but I was happy that we won because if we lost, the season would have been over. The season would have been over if we lost.
I get it, but I wasn't happy with that. You can't be at home barely beating teams with their best weapons out. You just,
Yeah, and it's the same. It's the same. Even
and you have to feel confident in the fact that Keenan Allen did play dirty. He did him dirty. But who on the Eagles supposed to do him dirty? Nelson Aguilar? I mean,
please. I mean, Coleman gonna shut him down.
Coleman should be able to handle that. So it's just one of those things, man. But we gonna get into it, man. We got a lot to still to cover, man. We trying to get out of here in a timely fashion so y'all can watch that game. But Mike, you up?
So, folks, if you have not liked the video, please do so. Simply put, we want to beat the legacy media and get this movement to keep going because the more likes we get, the more comments, the more interaction. The algorithm via YouTube will spread our content out more. Also, folks, a game is about to start. If you have not done your picks yet for the Pick'em League, do so you get credit for it. We don't want you getting a loss simply because you forgot to do so. And also as well, subscribe to everybody that's on this panel right now. That's Luke G, 313 JMO, TA from Noble Sports, and myself, Mr. MicroMike, and the rest of the DSA. That'd be Nomis J, Big Take, as well as Positively,
CA3 Sports Talk,
CA3 Sports Talk, and Detroit Drew himself.
I do want to respond to this comment.
Every single one of the members' channels are linked in the description right now. So you just click that description button and click on their link and subscribe, and you can do it. Mike is almost at 1,000. We are trying to get him to that 1,000 because that opens up more doors for him. TA is almost at 2,000. We're trying to get him to 2,000. I'm almost at 1,300. JMO, I believe you are almost at 700.
Yeah, man. We gotta get me up there. Make sure y'all subscribe, man.
So it's growing, and we're doing this for you.
But this one comment though.
Hold on one second. I also know that what's his name? You can hate me now, McKenzie. He wants y'all to forget those picks so he can catch up. But Keedricks, no, Tyreek Hill, he's trying to catch up. But Keedricks, Tyreek Hill is not playing. He is still injured. So,
yeah.
But go ahead.
Burner account says y'all said the same thing about the Cardinals and the Chargers. Oh, we need to blow them out, and we don't find y'all just find excuses. Burner account. I don't know if you're new to the DSA. Luke, wasn't the Cardinals review on your channel? I'm gonna need you to go and do me a favor and go listen to our Cardinals review after we tied that game, because we had all the smoke for the Lions. We wanted Matt Patricia fired, and we was like, if he don't win the next game, he has to leave. And even after we beat the Chargers by 3, Luke G just told you himself he wasn't happy. The only reason I was happy because if we didn't win that game, our season was over. So I don't know. Like I said, if we don't dominate the Eagles, I will be concerned because we should.
Yeah, and the truth is this: if you go to my channel, I'm still taking heat. I'm sitting up here doing this show right now. People still posting messages because I said Matthew Stafford played bad in game 2, and I pointed it out. And people like, "Well, that's not fair. You nitpicking." I'm like, "I'm not nitpicking. I'm calling like it."
Yeah, you gotta be able to critique your team sometimes. You can't always praise them for every single thing. That's just like you working on your job. Your boss ain't always praising you all the time because you might be looking at your phone, knowing you're supposed to be on the phone with a client. You know what I mean? So you're not always doing good like what you.
I don't know about y'all, but J-Mo he get promoted out here. My boss loves me.
Well, I agree.
My boss love me. He just give me a raise.
Well, listen. Let me listen. We got one more question, and then we'll open it up to you guys to ask us any questions that you want. So let me get to this last question because I think it's an important one that we should discuss, and one that we should talk about. When the Detroit Lions beat the Eagles, or I should say, if the Detroit Lions beat the Eagles, and then they turn around and beat Kansas City, should we then move expectations up to NFC Championship? We'll start off with you, J-Mo.
Whoa, there! That was that. Like you just said that so subtly. Like, huh? Like,
Hey,
whoa! Wow. I wasn't expecting you to say that, honestly, Luke.
Hey, I'm just saying. Listen.
I mean, that's reaching for the stars right there.
I'm just saying expectations have to go up. We can't beat a few teams and keep low expectations.
But no, I don't know about NFC Championship game, but I would say winning a playoff game. But I said this, Lions fans called me crazy. I said if we somehow won the games that you're talking about, I could see us easily starting off 8-0. Because after that, we'll play the Packers. I'm sorry. I know people think the Packers are better, and they are better. But Matt Patricia has a week to prepare for the Packers. There's no way we're going to lose to the Packers. We've been averaging 33 points a game against them the last 3 years, and now we have a running back and a tight end. But yeah, I don't. If we start like that, then I could easily see us not losing the game to mid-season. So it's or losing maybe 1 to Minnesota. But yeah, I mean, I would say just a playoff win. NFC Championship, I would have to see us beat Green Bay and Minnesota. Then I would go that far.
Okay. All right. What say you, Mike?
Well, when it comes to expectations, I simply just want them to win the next game. I don't want them thinking that they're going straight to the playoffs, straight to the big dance. If you look at 2011, we went 5-0 and we ended up winning 10-6. I want these guys to simply focus on the next game. When it comes to my personal expectation that has no influence over the Lions, I expect them to win their division and win a playoff game. If they can do that, I'm 100% satisfied that they took that next step that we've been waiting for 20 some years. So I wouldn't say expectations of NFC Championship or a Super Bowl. I want them simply to do one game at a time, one play at a time, one quarter at a time, and just get better. Show us what you can do. Mm-hmm. Show us that you can take on the NFC North and beat the teams you need to beat.
Okay, I mean, I think that's fair. I think it's fair to have that expectation of saying go game by game. But for me, I already had them going 11-5. I already had them winning the division. I already had them earning themselves a playoff, home playoff game, because I think they are a better team than many people may give them credit for. And with that being said, once they go out and prove what I believe that they're going to do with each win, you have to start to think bigger. I'm not afraid to put more pressure on them. They should not be afraid to accept the pressure. Either you're going to get one or two things. You're going to get diamonds, or a bust pipe. Either way it go, I want to see the diamond. Okay.
Yeah, and I know what I just said, but thinking about it, I know we expect us to beat the Chiefs, some of us, but the Chiefs are like AFC Championship bound instantly. So if we beat that team, maybe it might be a little cause for a little bit more confidence.
Okay. I mean, like I said, I get it. You ain't gonna get me you ain't gonna get me mad. I just think that the expectations needs to be a little bit higher, and I think it needs to go there. What say you, TA? Should we have high expectations if they go on, they beat the Eagles, they go on, they beat the Kansas City Chiefs, they go on into the bye week, they would be 3-0-1, which means that they would still be undefeated, getting ready to prepare for a game against the Green Bay Packers on the road. Should we start increasing expectations and get as high as an NFC Championship game?
Well, first off, I got to piggyback off MicroMike. I think MicroMike is right. You take this thing one game at a time, one step at a time. You build. That's how you build. When you're building a house, you build one layer at a time. So you got to make sure the foundation is right. And if that foundation is right, everything else will be right. So basically, to say all that, I just want to say that the Lions are going to have to try to beat some of the teams. That's especially if they beat Kansas City. I'm not going to say that we're going to go out on a limb and knock all these teams off, because what I'm saying, I don't want to speak that highly yet, because still, it's the Lions and we don't want to have that mentality, but we know that.
Oh my goodness.
Hold on, let me talk, man.
No, I responded to you that it's the Lions. I can't say, oh my goodness.
Let me finish talking. So basically what I'm saying is, we have to have the mentality of we got to take this thing one game at a time, because we saw how that Arizona game looked, and then we go in against Kansas City thinking we're going to beat them and then get our feelings hurt. So hopefully we can just win one game at a time, and the NFC North title is what we need to be putting our sights on, because every team in the NFC North has held the title besides the Detroit Lions since they have started the NFC North. The Detroit Lions have not yet held that title yet. And I know that that's something that the fans will want. I know that's something that you guys will want. It's something that I want. And they have to be able to do that. And if they can grab that NFC North title, then definitely, man, a playoff win or a game in the playoffs at Ford Field, because you never had one at Ford Field, that would be nice. And I'm not talking about the Super Bowl when the Steelers played the Seahawks. I'm talking about the Detroit Lions actually having a playoff game at Ford Field. That boy would be rocking.
I mean, and I totally get it. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I'm finna jump on board with J-Mo on this. What does it mean? It's the Lions. What does that mean?
What does that mean? It's the Lions.
So if we beat the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Eagles, it's still the Lions.
But what I'm saying is we can beat them and then start losing the rest of the games and start. It's gonna take. Just because you beat Kansas City and you beat the team behind Kansas City, that don't mean that you're going to run the table. That doesn't mean that. You have to win game by game. That's what that means.
Teams that beat playoff teams win 11 games or more. We've seen the Lions win 11 games with a horrible offense and a great defense.
We beat the Patriots last year, but did we go to the playoffs? No. So that's what
said. If we beat Kansas City and the Eagles.
But I'm saying
that would be 3 playoff teams in a row.
Even if we beat them, that doesn't necessarily guarantee that we're going to win. Just because
it doesn't. But that don't mean you can just say, "Oh, it's the Lions," so we can just still lose because we the Lions. No, good football teams continue to win games.
Well, they still got to prove it, J-Mo. They still got to prove that they.
Well, if they would have proved it if they won those games,
they still got to prove it. You just can't stop at KC and the other team, the Eagles, and think that it's over. It's not over.
I think what J-Mo is saying is if they beat the Eagles like they're supposed to on the road, and they go home and they beat the Kansas City Chiefs, then he said that you can't use the adage that it's the Lions, because it's the Lions would lose those games.
Yeah, they would, but we still got to take it game by game.
Fair enough. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now your time. That's right, your time. Your time to ask us questions. Any questions that you would like and that you have, you can direct it at each one of us individually. You can literally ask it to us as a group. It's your world right now. All right, it's your world. Get your nut right now. Go ahead. You the squirrel. Okay.
Ready to. This is not the SOL if we beat those teams, and that's my exact point. We go out and beat 3 playoff teams from last year, and 2 of them are probably going to be playoff teams this year. That's a whole different era because I'm pretty sure when the Bears was on their win streak, they went, "Oh, it's the Bears. We're not going to beat nobody else." Like I just don't like that sentiment. That's a loser mentality, man.
Now again, this is your time for questions, so make sure you get those questions in, and I want us to make sure we can address any questions you have. So let's go ahead and get this thing going. It says, would you rather play a team coming off a win or a loss? Preferably a win. Because when I beat them, I want them to know I beat them. I want them to know that it happened, and I want them to know I slapped them. Like if so everybody in here has probably had a fight once or twice in their life, and it's some people that when you hit them in the face, you knew that person knew that they got hit. I need them to know that they got hit, whether they won the game or not before us. When they came to us or we came to them, we beat them. What say you, Mike?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I think I would do the win as well. Look, we understand in years past the Lions teams can go ahead and beat teams that are worse than there when it comes to Caldwell, but I would prefer the Lions to be known as a team that could win playoff teams, and teams with winning records, and show that the NFL, this is not the same old Lions. This is a team that can compete with any team in the league, whether they are a first overall pick or a Super Bowl championship team like the Patriots. That's what I want to see. And I think it'd be nice to see consistently beating teams that do win.
Okay. J-Mo, I'll toss this question to you. Fact or fiction? Does Ty Johnson take a toss play 85 yards to the end zone?
Fiction. Like that's not I don't see that happening. But I did want to respond to 1540. Are you buying into the Green Bay defense? Wait, J-Mo.
I'm moving down the line on the question, so I'm taking them as they come in. So that's
you
why
taking
I'm
one by one?
Yeah, I'm taking them as they come in. So I want to make sure I can get to everybody's question. So that's why I asked you. So you saying fiction on the 85-yard toss?
Yeah, that's not happening.
All right. Ellen Jackson says, Luke G, do you see Matt Patricia turning the corner to become a quality coach? I do. He has shown signs of improvement. I mean, I saw it when we made adjustments to get better on defense down last year. I saw him make adjustments this week, but I also think this might have been more of Darrell Bevel in the aggressive play calling to win the game. He still is having some issues, but I think he's having his improvements here and there. Ann Briggs says, Luke G, do you think the old Stafford is back because he's a gunslinger now? No, I think what it was he was feeling himself that game because the pocket was clean. He wasn't getting touched. It's like the guy who never had a suit and he got a new suit. He gonna strut down the street like a old school player / pimp, and that's what I think happened.
Like I said, I know what you said, but I said he was averaging in that game. I agree with you to an extent because it seemed like when the fourth quarter came, he was like, "All right, I got to get serious."
Yeah, he buckled down.
He was like, "All right, let me go win this game now." I was having fun.
Yeah, so I'll toss this question off to UTA. It says, "Are you buying into the Green Bay's defense or no?"
No, not yet. No, I'm not buying into it. I won't buy into it till I see them play us. That's when I'll buy into it. But right now, I'm not.
Okay. Let's see. Alien Source TV. Hell yeah, Luke G, my kind of guy. Yeah. It says, if we win another ugly game like last week, but they are improving, are you still upset? That's at all of us. We'll start off with you, Mike. If they win another ugly game like they did against the Chargers, are you upset?
No.
Okay. I mean, and Mike gets right to the point. I mean, Lord Jesus. I mean, waste no time, huh, Mike? What say you, TA?
Say that again. Look, I was looking at something.
If we have another ugly win like we did against the Chargers and then a tie, I should say, like we did against the Cardinals, would you be upset?
Yeah, I'd be upset.
Okay, well, why? Why would you be upset?
Because I want to win. I want to win. I want to win. I want to win big time, man. I want to stop kicking field goals, man. I want to put some points on the board. So yeah, I would.
Okay. All right. What say you, J-Mo?
Of course, I'll be upset. This is why. If they were fully loaded, we win a close game, cool. But if you're hobbled and we barely beat you, Are we really the superior team, or are we just a inferior team that capitalize on your weaknesses? We should beat the Eagles by at least 7 points. Like, and if we don't, I'm gonna be upset. Like, they don't have nobody on offense. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how they're gonna score. And if they manage to grind out a tough game, I'm not gonna be happy with that.
I mean, and I concur with you. You have to be upset because I look at it like this. I look at it like you getting beat up by a guy with no arms and legs, and that's not a shot at people, amputee people. It's just me saying that. How do you explain to somebody that you got beat with a dude with no arms and legs? How do you explain that? So to me, you look at this team, and you're going against a team that's hobbled. They got this many scars. You have to be able to come out and hit them in the mouth. You have to. And I'm with you. You gave them 7 points. We should win by 10. Because
I was being nice with 7. I was being nice.
Yeah, we should win by 10. And if they don't understand that, then I don't know what else it is. Because if you're a good team, then you're supposed to take advantage of team's weakness. Now, Vash Starwin says, DSA question, do we draft an O lineman as the number 1 pick next season or save it for round 2 or 3? Do we even really pick an O lineman often with the number 1 pick? I wonder. I'll toss that off to you, TA. Do we take an offensive lineman next year with the first overall pick?
I don't think that we should take because we can always get one via free agency, so we don't have to necessarily take one. But if we feel like Crosby is not the guy to move up, then you take one.
Okay, J-Mo, what say you?
Definitely not. There's no way. I would be really, really surprised. Because you can find guys in the later rounds, and just like Noble said, you can get guys in free agency. I don't think we're going that.
All right, Mike.
It just depends where we're at in the first round. It depends who's available in the first round. Maybe an individual slides that's the highest player rated on Bob Quinn's board. So it really all depends. It's hard for me to say take one or not take one because we're not there yet. I have no idea who will be available. I don't even know where we're going to pick. You just simply, in my opinion, you pick the best available player that's there. And if a very much quality left or right tackle falls to us that is extremely well, that could be the next Ragnow, then I would. If there's not one that is like that and there's a better player on the board, whether it be a cornerback or a better linebacker or another defensive lineman, whatever position is there, you just go the route with the best player available, in my opinion.
And I agree with you, Mike. I think the draft position makes the world of a difference. Even when I do my investigative work into who we're going to take with our first pick and how I was able to figure out who it's going to be. And I'm already into my investigation for this upcoming year. And I'm starting to get it narrowed down to some positions. And right now, offensive line is not one of those positions that is coming up for us because I don't see us being in the draft position to get the guy that they will want. So those little things to me make a huge difference. And I do not suspect that they will take one in the first round. Second is possible, but I suspect that you can look between the second and third round at best, but third round is more than likely where it's going to be. Again, depending on draft position. Tyler Balk says, does anyone really want to see Les Tavai? Will Jared coming back decrease Tavai's playing time? And can we use Jared to play outside linebacker? I'll start this one off. Nobody wants to see less Jelani Tavai, and you won't see less Jelani Tavai. Davis coming back will not decrease that. Davis coming back absolutely helps Jelani Tavai because he was always going to be used as like a wildcat type guy, DN, outside linebacker, inside. They were going to move him around. He's our Dante Hightower, our Willie McGinnis. That's what he is. In terms of Davis playing outside linebacker, depending on what that scheme is, he will be playing some outside linebacker. So you're going to see a little bit of that and then some. What say you, TA?
I definitely don't think just because Davis is coming back that Jelani Tavai, we're gonna see his role increase as far as, like you said, you're gonna see the versatility coming in on Jelani Tavai, because I seen some of the games. The last game, he was on the offensive, like he was up on the line. He was doing some of those things, and he was moving around a lot. So I definitely think that they're going to move him around now that Davis is back, and that's what we can expect to see when we play the Eagles on Sunday. That Tavai will be out there, but they're going to be moving him around.
All right, I'll toss this question to you.
Wait, let me respond to that.
Go ahead.
That last one. The reason why the playing time won't increase when Gerard Davis comes back because Jelani Tavai and Gerard Davis can't put his hand in there like that, but they can play every linebacker position. Jared Davis and Jelani Tavai can play all 4 linebacker positions. So when you get 2 guys that can play all 4, you're just gonna have a fun playing chess with them. And that's just the way I feel. And we're a 3-4 defense, so we play 4 linebackers.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll talk this next question to you, Mike. Then, it says, "Are you guys disappointed if the Eagles and Kansas City are injured bad and we beat them? Does that take away from their victory, or does it negatively affect the win?" What say you, Mike?
I could care less if we win if they're injured.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
What Shannon Sharp say? I'm only taking dubs and L's. As long as Mike get the dub, it don't matter.
Right. That's it. I don't care how I get it.
Absolutely. Look, we have no control when it comes to other teams and injuries. You simply take what is there. A win is a win, whether it be a team that is injured or not. It does account for the overall record to go and take the NFC North. You got to get more wins. I don't care if they have all their players in there. We beat them. Hey, that's icing on the cake. But if they don't, hey, we win. So either way, I'm happier than can be.
I agree. To me, the team being injured does not really bother me, or it doesn't negatively affect the win. I look at it like this: how we win the game is how we can't play a team that's like, for example, if we were playing the Saints. They don't have no Drew Brees. We can't be struggling with that team. You know what I mean? We can't. You know, and so when I go through, I look at it from that standpoint of is who's out. And if who's out is so important and we beat them, it's like, okay, yeah, we beat them. But in my case, if you really want to make me feel better, beat them handily. You know, let them know that they got beat. And yeah, your best player is out, but we still showed you with your best player out, we beat you. And had he been in, it probably would have still been a dogfight. So to me, that's the only part of it that affects it, in my opinion. Joseph Murdoch, I'll toss this one to you, J Mo. He says, open question. So I guess it's to all of us. He says, who gets Jalen Ramsey, and do you want Quinn to pull the trigger? J Mo, you go first.
I definitely want Quinn to pull the trigger. Not giving up 2 firsts. I said, like I keep saying, 1st and 4th. I don't know how you can finesse them, but you do it somehow. I really want him to pull the trigger because I think that would take our defense to the next level, having, you know, a shutdown corner and then a guy who's almost a shutdown corner and who's big play slay. And then you look at the rest of our defense. I mean, the elevation, I think we have a top 10 defense, but we get Ramsey, we could be the best defense. So I want him to pull the trigger badly, but I just think the price tag, if they want 2 firsts, there's no way Bob Quinn's going to do that.
Okay. What say you, TA? Do you think they pull the trigger on Jalen Ramsey, and who do you think gets him?
I definitely don't think that the Lions are going to pull the trigger. I would want him to do it, but I don't think they're going to do it. You know what I'm saying? I think that he's going to end up probably going to somebody like the Eagles. I would kind of keep him away from the AFC teams, but he probably can end up going to the Eagles, or he could end up going to the Chiefs. But even though the Chiefs don't have the money, they are still interested in him because they're trying to make a Super Bowl run. So I can understand that, but he can go to the Ravens, he can go to the Raiders, he can go to various teams. But if you're the Lions and you can give up a 1st round pick and maybe possibly like a 3rd or something like 3rd or 4th or something like that for him, then I would do it. Because he's that talented of a player, and I would want that type of talent on my team.
Okay, I'll toss this one over here to you, Mike. This comes from, and I hope I say this right, Rayvon. I think that's how you say that. I hope I said that right. Rayvon Lewis. He says, do you think the defensive line will live up to the hype when Deshaun Hand comes back?
Ooh, it just depends when they come back. What I think is taking place when it comes to this defensive line is they did not get a whole lot of reps in training camp. I don't believe they were actually in football shape, ready to play, specifically the big boys. If Deshaun comes back after the bye week, I think the defensive line will already kind of be up to speed when it comes to the conditioning that it requires to play in the NFL game. So in that sense, yes, if they're still having issues and Deshaun and Hand comes back, it will elevate it because Hand is a phenomenal player. He's a great defensive tackle / defensive end. He has the ability to really dominate a defensive line, thus opening up position for a Snacks Harrison or Mike Davis to get one-on-one, thus get past the line, sack the quarterback, and or stop the run. So in my opinion, what we're seeing taking place is just individuals who are not in that shape yet. And I think that's what's going on.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think exactly what you're saying is right. You're seeing a case of it having to find a way to jail. And I think the team themselves as a line have to figure out how to feed off each other and play off each other. Deshaun Hen is not going to change that. Like, I love me some Deshaun Hen, but he is not no Ndamukong Suh. Okay, you don't put Deshaun Hen and everybody all of a sudden go, oh, double team him, watch him. It doesn't work like that. So I think that you are spot on with your assessment there. 313 J-Mo, how many do you give the special teams coach last season?
I don't know what he means by that, but if he's talking about how many games, I think Matt Patricia gave the last guy 4 games. So I would say if we still bad, like going into the bye week, whoever that is needs to be fired, regardless of whether unless we lose the game because of special teams, like the tie type of situation, then he should be fired immediately.
Okay. This one is to TA. It says, no sports entertainment now that you have seen 2 weeks of play. Who is our defensive MVP, Kennard or Jared Davis?
Well, hands down, it's Kennard. That's no question. Everything's about Kennard has been balling, been playing well, and he has been one of those bright spots on the defense that is able to get to the quarterback, and that's what we need. We need more of that. We need guys getting protection. We need guys getting pressure, I should say. And he's doing a phenomenal job, man. So hopefully Kennard will end up leading the team in sacks. We'll see, though.
All right. MicroMike, Alan Jackson would like to know, do you think the Lions' inability to run the ball effectively is due more to personnel issues or adjusting to a new blocking scheme?
I think it has to do with a mixture of both. Look, this is a new offensive line that has yet to get continuity. We know and understand that offensive lines need to have that cohesion, the ability to understand what the other man next to them can do, thus not thinking of what they need to do. It's natural. I think it's going to take a little bit more time to get that continuity on the offensive line simply to open up the holes. I think it will get there. Again, this is just week 2, and they're definitely pushing to run the ball when it comes to Darrell Bevell. I also do believe they're kind of mixing up the players as well. They seen that CJ Anderson wasn't doing it, so they go ahead and release him and make Ty Johnson the number 2. I think they're going at every avenue. What can we do to get this thing going faster than it should be? Right now, it's not on pace to what Darrell Bevell and what Matt Patricia wants and the expectations of us Lions fans. But give it a little more time. If Terrell Crosby stays on the left side, or if he gets moved to a right side, and or whatever takes place due to injuries, it just takes time with continuity. And look, we had Decker at left tackle. Now in week 1, we have Crosby at week 2. We seen what happened to us last year when TJ Lang went down. Less continuity makes it harder. Continue to stay healthy, knock on wood. Continue to understand the man next to you in the position they need to be at. Will help out Kerryon Johnson and Ty Johnson to get those rushing yards required for Matt Patricia's team to win the style they want to play.
Man, Mike, listen, somebody get that man a glass of water, man. What in the world, Mike? Mike, man, you like the sun right now. You can't be put out. What in the world? Okay. Shay says, why is it that when the Lions lose to a team due to a lucky play, they're the same old Lions? But when the Lions win due to a lucky play, some fans will try to discredit the win as much as possible. So I'll take that. Because of trauma. They still traumatized. They don't know how to let go. They have not seek therapy. They're refusing to exercise their right to sit on the lone couch and get help. And so when you have trauma going on, you're going to have problems like that. You're going to have issues where people can't accept that, this is the luck of the draw. Some games are just lucky. Look at what happened to the Saints. Luck of the draw. Flag not thrown. They lose a chance to go to the Super Bowl. So it happens. This next question I'll toss to you, J-Mo. It says, who do you see having a better season, Kerryon, Hockenson, or Kenny Galladay?
I'm gonna say Kenny Galladay. I wish it was Kerryon, but I just think it's gonna be a work in progress with him. Like, he's gonna build slowly towards the season, and at the end of the season in December is when he's gonna really take off. But I think Kenny Galladay I mean, he was good the first 2. I think he's a problem. And I mean, I just think he's gonna be really good. And I think it comes to like matchups because when they focus on Hawkinson, then Galladay is more open when they put the number 1 corner on Marvin Jones. Then Galladay is getting the number 2. I think in Galladay's rapport with Matthew Stafford really, really trusts him. So he's gonna force the ball to Galladay a lot, whether we like it or not. I think he's gonna be great.
Okay. You know, I mean, and I think that's a very good observation by you in noticing that they're going to play it off of each person that's having a good game that day. I think that makes a lot of good point. So I mean, you know, I'm gonna keep going with the comments, man, because we almost getting towards the end. So I want to make sure I hit on everybody's comments, and I want to make sure that everybody's given a chance to speak. So if you put in like 2 or 3 comments and I skip over one, it's because I'm seeing some other people who haven't had a chance to get a comment in or not. So one of the things that I know I personally wanted to bring up is this one right here, where it says Ellen Jackson says, TA, which young player you think can impact our team the most, not named Tavai or not named TJ Hawkinson?
Well, the proof is in the pudding. The writing is on the wall. Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson is the guy that I had to go with because he just got a promotion. And I think that Ty Johnson is going to be that X factor in the backfield. I definitely think that he's going to be the guy that we can use in so many different type of ways. And he's going to get more touches now. So he's the only other guy because right now Amani is not getting the time. He's not even. They're not even activating Amani right now, I don't believe. So I definitely think that it's the only guy that I can see, young guy right now, that's going to get some time out on the field. That's Ty Johnson. He is going to be utilized this week, and I hope both of those guys have a great game this weekend.
I would go with Tracy Walker.
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, I can't lie.
Tracy Walker is a beast, man. I'm trying to tell people.
I can't lie, man. Hey, I would not be surprised or shocked at all. Let me ask.
We have 86 right now in the chat. If you have not hit that thumbs up, please do so. Again, like I always say, it helps us defeat the mainstream legacy garbage narrative and start this grassroots movement from not just us, but from you all to finally get content that you desire that is not the Cowboys or the Eagles like the lamestream media always talk about.
Right, or Patriots.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I'll take this question right here. Should we start Crosby over Decker? Who's healthy? I mean, because the truth is this. I think what you saw out of Decker was an absolute one-time thing. I don't think he can ever get that worse. That was the lowest of the lows for him in his career, and I don't think he can ever get that low. I think Crosby did a phenomenal job, but as you know, Crosby is going to have his hands full this week, and we're going to see if he step up to the charge. So he has to basically keep the job and earn it. And if he can't,
Luke,
him. Yes.
I seen a report earlier today that they were saying that Taylor Decker has been taking first team reps, so it looks like he's coming back.
I mean, but he should though. I mean, and to me, injury should never be a reason for you to lose your job. But try telling that to threes.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think he's kind of scared of losing his spot.
Yeah. That's why he came back so fast.
James Willis says, which Lions linebacker do you think looks the most like Lawrence Taylor? None of them. None.
Man,
not one. Not one.
A Hall of Fame linebacker, one of the best all-time linebackers.
The best.
Man, yeah. No, there's nobody. Von Miller don't look like him. Khalil Mack don't look like him. First of all, it's kind of hard because I'm a Lawrence Taylor fan, but it's kind of hard because I know he was on coke. So I don't know if he was high doing this stuff or not, or if it was just him. You know, like in college he played good, you know, but the high version of him, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, they was worried about performance enhancing drugs and nobody thought to say, is he high off coke? So, you know, but nobody on our team looks like him, not even close. It's just not there. I'll pass this one off to you. TA, it says, who would you rather have, Tavai or Christian Jones at outside linebacker?
That's a very interesting question. Well, Christian Jones is doing his best impression out there. I think I would have him out there right now because he is playing solid, man. He's been doing his thing out there. but I wouldn't mind interchanging them either because I want to see Ken Tavai really play that outside linebacker position. So it's interchangeable with that one. So I'm going to say Christian Jones.
Okay. All right, this question to go to you, J Mo. It says, how about our special teams? Do you think Agnew plays again?
Well, I don't think he starts. I don't know if he starts the game, but I do think that I think that we might throw Ty Johnson or somebody else back there, but I do think they're going to give him a chance in the game. And if he doesn't do well with that chance, I definitely think he'll be cut.
All right. Ben Jamming says, I love the shows, guys. I think you are sleeping on the Eagles. We are not.
No,
we are not. No, we are not asleep.
Like we all had the Eagles beating us in this game.
And what happened was when the injuries started mounting up, our chances went up. So what happened was as the injuries mounted up, our chances went up and our expectations went up. We all had them taking an L this week on the road against the Eagles team. We just saw Darius Slay get torched by Keenan Allen. Who was he going to stop out there? Was he going to shut down Deshaun Jackson? Come on. So
this week.
Yeah, it wasn't that we're sleeping on them. We just looked at it and said, given the circumstance, why should we not have higher expectations for us to win? We should win this game and not have any problems. And that's just my opinion. Marcus Willis says, I think we should take flyers on Xavier Howard from Miami. I mean, hell, they giving up everyone. I mean, yeah.
Wait, is he a safety or a cornerback?
He a cornerback.
Yeah,
I like him.
I like him too. I like him.
But ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you, we are coming up to the close of this. So I want to go ahead and give the people on the panel their final thoughts. And also make sure you subscribe to each and one of us because you're going to get this media pushed to you hard as possible. We're going to be your number one source for Detroit sports content. Basketball season is getting ready to get started. Get ready to see some Detroit Drew and some big takes, some 313 J-Mo, some Noble Sports Entertainment. You're going to get it from every way. Even CA3 Sports Talk. You're going to get the best content for our sports teams that you love right here. So you want to make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell because you don't want to miss a video. It be things going on that y'all don't know because y'all afraid to hit that bell, but y'all go to Taco Bell. Why we need y'all to get on the bell with us. So make sure you do that. But as we go forward and get these final thoughts, man, make sure if you have not hit that like button, you do so again on your way out. And if you have already hit it, give me the thumbs up in the chat. I absolutely love when you guys do that. It lets me know that you are still here. And it's a phenomenal job. As you see, Tone of Voice put a great show tonight, fellas. Family, keep up the good work, man. Appreciate it. All right,
Thanks,
so
man.
We're going to start off with you, Mr. MicroMike. Final thoughts, man.
Folks, again, like I say every single show, we truly, truly appreciate you guys taking the time, spending a couple hours with us, talking Lions football. This is something we all love. DSA is not just us, it's you guys. We're all one pride. We're all in this together. We are ready to change the narrative and keep bringing you content that you thrive. All of us. If you're new to the channel, we all do Detroit Lions YouTube videos fairly daily. Also, as we do live shows, as you hear now, we do it on Thursdays. And also, when it comes to game day, we do pre and post shows. And you jump on my channel during the game, and you will get live play-by-play commentary and analysis of what's taking place by each play. With that said, folks, adios.
Man, absolutely. TA, what say you?
Yeah, what's up, people? Man, we had a great show again. We appreciate all y'all, man, for getting them likes up tonight. And this is what we want. We aim to do, guys. We aim to give you some of the best Detroit Lions podcast content that you can possibly get. The Above the Rim show will be coming with those guys really, really soon. So make sure you check into the Pistons Above the Rim. They're going to be talking about NBA and as well as talking to Detroit Pistons. So you be ready for that as well. And we like to appreciate everybody that's been subscribing to the channels. Keep on doing so. And that's all I got to say tonight, guys.
Man, absolutely. Mr. 313 J-Mo, the heart of the city, man. Final thoughts?
Okay, let me top tier said I like him, but what he played when I was referring to Xavier Howard. No, I knew he was a defensive back and the one who stopped carrying on from getting that touchdown. I just couldn't remember what position he played in the defensive backfield top tier. But anyway, I do want to say we should beat the Eagles by 7-10, like me and Luigi were saying. It should look. I'm not underestimating or sleeping on this team, but like I said before, if half our team was hurt, what would the Eagles do to us fully healthy? And that's just the way that I'm looking at it. I do have a video where I expound on how we need to take advantage of the opportunities and we need to capitalize on these teams when they're injured and when they're completely healthy. We still need to win. Like Noble Sports said, Above the Rim will be coming back in 2 weeks, so make sure you guys check out for that and enjoy the game tonight. I'm sure the game is on. But the Lions definitely shouldn't lose to the Eagles, and we should win this game, and we should enjoy it. I'm expecting to see I'm gonna really see what Matt Patricia game plan is defensively since their weapons are out. But this is a great show. I love when we have disagreements like on the Ramsey and everything. That's what this is about. This is about media talking about sports and just having different opinions on what's going on with the football team. And I'm just glad y'all came out today. It was a real great show today, guys.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that y'all rock with us, that y'all showed up and y'all came in force, man. I think we hit 110, but I know more than 110 was in the chat. And that's how I believe that we are going to grow, is through you guys and through word of mouth and through you sharing with other people that this thing is happening. As well as I want to make sure that you understand that, make sure that you subscribe to each member of the DSA. Their channels are linked in the description. You do have the Above the Rim coming back. And on Sunday, we will have a Lions pregame show and postgame show. So you want to make sure you subscribe to all of us because we may move that thing around a little bit. Also, I want to leave you with a little bit of good advice right here. No matter how hard it gets, stick your chest out, keep your head up, and handle it. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, don't be no chump. Please subscribe to the DSA, and we are out.